What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Iccy Show, interview 556 interviews I've done. Give this special guest from Pennsylvania to Boston, 617. How's everybody doing? Happy 420. You know, it's 420. So salute to everybody. Definitely. Shout out to your boy Custom Clothing Store. Get your gear. Let them know the Iccy Show sent you. So give them a second to get on here and we will start this Iccy Show. If you want to be a guest, I'm booking until June, so inbox me and I'll let you know the dates I have available. I have a couple of cancellations. Here we go. Hey, what's going on? Welcome to the Iccy Show, Rap Star.
Yo, what's up? Glad to be back.
Happy 420. I'm glad to have you back.
Oh, you already know. Already know. Happy 420 to everybody. Smoke them if you got them. You know what it is.
Definitely. So how you been this last year? Talk to you.
Oh man, different stuff been happening, good, bad, indifferent. Musically, I've been doing like a lot better. I got a few records that I've been doing. I got a few records that I'm coming out with soon that is like really going to change the game right now. Like I'm really proud of them. I'm really proud of things that I'm coming out with right now. I got into the modeling aspect of the business. As you can see, I got my Rap Star shirt on. This is
Okay.
That's for my Power to My People single that I came out with about a year ago on my birthday. Um, I got another shirt that is actually from my single 1990-ish that released last year, September 10th. So I've been doing a lot of, shirts that got, that promote me and a lot of my favorite artists. I promote on TikTok. I put out these videos and they be crazy. I'm getting a lot of hits from them, like a lot of hits from them.
That's dope. Definitely. That's dope. Now, is that your own design, the shirts, or someone helped you with them?
Well, what it is there's like a place that I go to that prints out like 3D prints that you could put on a shirt. So before I was doing all that, I was actually going to like different websites like Wish and everything that had like 3D prints of like my favorite artists. So I have like J-Lo, I have some what is it? J-Lo, I have uh Big Pun, I have some Tupac, I have a shirt that got all the rappers from the 90s. I have 50 Cent's Get Rich or Die Trying album cover on there. I got 50 Cent's The Massacre cover on there. Just a lot of my favorite artists. I got LL Cool J on there. Just a lot of my favorite artists that got, that influenced me from then and even till now. You probably seen my Nipsey Hussle jacket that I got.
Yes, I love it. Salute, definitely. You got
Yeah.
you got. Did you get it from the guy Rocket Loke?
No, actually, I got it from a place in the mall where I'm located at. And the crazy thing about it was I went to the mall. I usually don't go to the mall. I usually buy all my stuff online because it's just a lot of the stores that's out right now, they're in like to today's fashion. So I either got to go to like a specialty store that have like baggy jeans that still have baggy jeans. I can't wear no baggy jeans. I mean, I can't wear no skinny jeans. I wear baggy jeans. I can't do the skinny jeans. I can't do the snapbacks. I do fitteds and Kangles. So, my style, if anybody knows me, my style is 90s to early 2000s.
Yeah.
Not everybody can rock it, but when I rock it, I look good in this motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? So, that's my style. And the store, I happened to randomly go to it because I was walking by and they had a lot of jackets, like a lot of jackets, and they were like on sale. Like there was like big ass winter jackets for $50. And you seen I got a red one that got Aaliyah and DMX on it.
Yes.
That's one of my favorites. I actually just wore it not yesterday, but the day before. The Nipsey Hustle. I got the
Yes.
Wu-Tang Cream. Shout out to the Wu.
Shout out to
Respect Wu.
Wu-Tang, definitely.
Respect Wu. You know, I got a matching hat that says cash rules everything around me. You know, Cream, get the money. Dollar bills, y'all. So I got a matching hat of that. This is actually one of them, one of the hats that I bought, Boys in the Hood. Increase the peace.
You're getting all the classics.
Oh, I'm getting all the classics. And it's my style. So if you see anybody rocking it, not saying that I was the first one to do it, but I was the first one to do it. You know what I'm saying? So I got a jacket that got the death row jacket on it. What else I got? Master P. I'm sorry, not Master P. I got the mystical. I got the mystical. I got the Proud Family. If anybody remembers the show back in like the 2001, I got the Proud Family.
Yes.
I got about like 10 jackets. Like they're all fair. I got Cash Money, Young Money, got Lil Wayne on it and Baby on it. I got my absolute favorite is the belly jacket with Nas and DMX. That is my absolute favorite.
Yo, that's one of my classics, no bullshit. That one in
Word.
the Nipsey Hussle, R.I.P.
All right, R.I.P. to Nipsey, man. You know,
thank you for that.
So I know, right? So I do.
People probably like, yo, Jackie, come on, come on.
Yeah. But I do this not just because I like, these shows, like a lot of my favorite artists growing up, but I'm paying homage. And with these clothes, I'm paying homage. I'm showing the world, yo, these is the people who put me in the position to where I'm at now. Right. So when you see me rocking, Nipsey Hussle, you got to understand, when I first heard of Nipsey Hussle, this was back around, like, I want to say 2006, 2000, I want to say 2007. This is when 50 Cent in the game, 50 Cent, G-Unit in the game was, going at each other real hard back in the day. And Spider Loke, shout out to Spider Loke, he made a song, and the song was called Blue Flag, Blue Bandana, with Glasses Malone, Nipsey Hussle, and then Spider Loke. And that was one of the songs, because at that time, being in a Crip neighborhood, we had anthems, but we didn't have like Game. He came out with the song Red Bandana, which was a diss to G-Unit. And I got a homeboy who's from LA, and he grew up in the Blood area. And what I do is, like, I like the Game. Actually, the Game and G-Unit is like one of the people who influenced me real hard. So if anybody knows, I have an alter ego. I'm not just Rap Star, I'm Hurricane Cam. And I got the Hurricane from Game when he split from G-Unit. So when I took that, and I was like, that's my aggressive side. So he would be like, we're driving home, because me and him work together, and he lived near me, so I would drop him off before I went home. And he'd be like, yo, can you play that Red Bandana again? And I'm like, yo, I'm going to play it one more motherfucking time. And that's it. Because I was like, it's a dope song, but I'm not just trying to drive through the hood. In my hood, that's a Crip neighborhood, banging Blue Bandana. I'm not doing it. Or Red Bandana. So being when Nipsey, Glasses Malone, and Nipsey Hussle, Spider Loke, when they came out with Blue Bandana, that was like my anthem. Like, I was playing that. Like, people was like, oh, well, I never heard Nipsey Hussle. I was banging Nipsey Hussle like for a minute. So then after that, that's when he came out with the single Hustle in the House, which is my absolute favorite joint. Hustle in the House. If anybody don't know, that's a sample of Crisscross's Jump. Crisscross and make you jump. So I was already hip to it, So when it comes to Nipsey, and then I have a hoodie that got, LL Cool J on there. LL is another one of the MCs that helped shape the MC that I am right now. I got all. Yeah, like he's like the epitome of hip hop to me. He's the epitome. Like, when I think of hip hop, like, I remember me and my cousin, we had a debate one time, and he thinks that Tupac is the epitome of hip hop. And I said, you're not wrong, because globally, there's more people who know Tupac than LL. But
Right.
here in the States, when you actually look at the culture of hip hop, from the rope gold chains and the Kangles and everything around that time, he was the man. And not only he's the man, we're talking about a man who solidified his spot 3-4 decades. How
Right.
you gonna clown a man who been in the game for 30 plus years? Isn't that the object? Isn't that the thing? Even though he's not really as active musically anymore, he made Rock the Bells. You know what I'm saying? So I look at him, I'm like, yo, he's the epitome of, one of the faces of hip hop. And now we talking about different generations, because even though Pac started, in the 80s, in the late 80s, his voice wasn't heard until the 90s. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I guess each decade has like a Mount Rushmore. So when people talk about who's the greatest of all time, well, if you ask me, I say LL Cool J, because he was the first motherfucker to say it.
Right.
My dad used to bang LL Cool J's album, The Greatest of All Time. So when people say I'm the GOAT, I'd be like, so your name must be LL Cool J.
You shut the dream
Yeah.
down.
Like your name must be LL Cool J, because no other rapper was calling themselves the GOAT before LL. So, and that's hip hop history. So like LL, I got about,
On the Iccy Show right now on 420.
you already know. You already know. I gotta, blow cold wind at them. I gotta blow the cold wind at them. I got shirts. I got like one more shirt I gotta get, but I completed my Little Kim collection. So I got a 3D shirt of Hardcore. I got a 3D shirt of the album cover, Notorious K.I.M. I got the 3D version of the La Bella Mafia album, and I got the Naked Truth album. The only thing I gotta get right now is the number 9. That was her latest album that she came out with. So,
Yes.
and then I got a Rough Riders, jersey. I,
All
I
right.
got the Snoop Dogg. Like, if anybody remember the Gin and Juice,
Yeah.
the song, he had the jersey, the Pittsburgh Penguin jersey that had Gin and Juice on the back. I got that.
Of course you would, representing over there, definitely.
Oh yeah. So when I do this modeling, it's not just, hey, look at me. I just want to pay homage to the people who came before me. I also got a Mobb Deep 3D shirt that got America's Most Wanted on it.
Okay, I see.
So like it's just going like that. So I'm just trying to, with my music and my fashion, I'm still keeping it hip hop. And I just want people to, every time they see me, not just see me, but the history behind hip hop, the culture. I mean, shit. In August, we're coming up on 50 years now.
Yes.
Hip hop been around for 50 years, a quarter century, a half century, a half
Yes.
century. So
Yes, sir.
you're looking at a culture where you had kids from the Bronx, you had black kids from the Bronx, you had Puerto Rican kids from the Bronx, you had Jamaican kids from the Bronx on their porch, DJing, rapping, break dancing, doing graffiti, spreading knowledge, and others, to now it's global. Go to Japan. Japan, whoo, they love hip hop more than the United States, I think.
Yep.
They're real big in hip hop. If you look at some of the animations, like the Japan animations and the anime, they're heavily in hip hop. There's Afro Samurai. Me and my father started watching Afro Samurai like a long time ago when it first aired on the Spike channel. The soundtrack was produced by Wu-Tang.
Really? That's dope.
The Jizza, the whole soundtrack was produced by the Jizza. And mostly everybody, all the characters mostly was played by Samuel L. Jackson.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So hip hop has elevated to, it's not a genre anymore. So when I hear people talk about hip-hop being a genre. It's more than a genre. It's a way of life. It's when you wake up in the morning, when you put on your clothes, when you go outside, the way you speak, the way you talk, the way you act. It's all hip-hop. It's what
Right.
it is.
Definitely. I'm proud of you, Rap Star, when I known you for 5 years now.
Mm-hmm.
Because the Iccy Show 5 years this June, so I've known you the whole 5 years. I appreciate you always supporting Icey Show and always keeping knowledge about hip hop to everybody. And that's, the main thing to keep it going.
Mm-hmm.
Legends pass away, and we got to keep their music going. We got to keep their power going. Because once you're gone, doesn't mean you stop. You got to keep their legacy going. That they helped us. Why not help them? Keep it going. People don't
Right.
understand. Major.
And I try to, what I try to do is I try to gain information. Like all the information that I have is not only me going out and researching, but I also study a lot of my favorite artists as well. So reading 50 Cent's Work Harder, Work Smarter, the book
Yeah.
that he came out with, the auto book, and he was explaining the collapse of G Unit. And certain situations, now everybody be telling me, oh, you're biased because, 50's your man. And I'd be like, you don't understand 50 Banks, Yayo, Buck, Game, Olivia, Mob Deep, MOP, Spider Lope, Murder Mace, Hot Rod, all of these G Unit affiliates.
Right.
I don't hold no bias towards because they was all under the same umbrella. But at the end of the day, you cannot dispute the CEO and what he has going on. So you got to break down every situation, and I learned from each situation from the artists that I look up to. So when he was talking about, when 50 was talking about Lloyd Banks, the eerie thing was when he was talking about Lloyd Banks, a part of it was like I felt like he was talking to me because how he was explaining sometimes, like with how Banks feel, I feel the same thing. Like when TikTok came out, I thought TikTok was the most corniest shit ever.
I remember you telling me that.
I was like, man, I said, I'm too gangster for TikTok. Like I'm watching TikTok and I'm seeing people doing stupid shit. And I'm like, should I really be doing this? Until my manager, shout out to Bev Bush,
Shout out to
and she
Beth.
was like, she said, yeah, but you can make some money off of this. People can stream your music and you can do what you do, and this will be a better promotion. This is the same conversation that 50 had with Banks. So if anybody know, Lloyd Banks is as amazing as he is lyrically, he's an introvert. He don't like, going out. He don't like, being on social media all like that. He's a rapper's rapper. All he wants to do is spit his 16s, write his music, show the world how ill he still got it. But he just want to do that. And he had a conversation with Fifth, and Fifth was like, this is what you need to do. You need to start making videos to your music. All you're doing is putting out mixtapes. Nobody's really listening to the audios anymore. They go straight to YouTube and watch the video. Do a video to your records. People want to see your fans, your hardcore fans. They want to see what Banks is up to. They want to see the day in the life of Lloyd Banks. Post something. Do a video. You in the studio. You with the punchlines and everything. You the punchline king. Banks was like, shit's corny. He said, this shit's corny. And he was like, Tupac and Biggie wouldn't be doing this. And that's when 50 was like, you got to understand, TikTok, Instagram, and all of this shit came after they died. How do you know that they wouldn't be in it?
Yeah.
Biggie Smalls, as witty as he is, a lot of people would have gravitated to some of the memes he would have came out with because he was so witty. Tupac, out of all the bullshit that's going on right now with racial injustices and police shootings and people rushing the Capitol and the school shootings, the mass school shootings, and people getting killed accidentally just by knocking on the door, don't you think Tupac would have reverted right back to his Black Panther days and start talking about some shit?
Yes.
After that, that's when 50 was like, I can't make no marketing dollars off of him. That's when he decided to part ways. Yayo was a little different. Yayo, in a business where they all come from Southside Jamaica, Queens, and they're usually, you know, they're used to handling shit in a different way. So if another artist had an issue, they automatically wanted to go see him. 50's like, no, we got to do this as a business. We can't just shoot every time something's going on. That's why I'm like, you know, I don't be around the bullshit. I stay to myself. With Young Buck. Young Buck didn't pay his taxes for 3 goddamn times. And 50 paid all 3 times. You know, when you're in the business, you got to understand the business. It's more than just rapping and you putting out records and everything like that. You got to understand, you know, okay, I'm selling this amount of records. I also know that the IRS is going to come and want they cut. So rather than getting all this lump sum and spending it all, I got to put some aside so when the taxes come, I can be able to pay my taxes. You know, that's another thing. Artists need to be smart about where their money is going. You know, so that's another thing. You know, so with Game from the gate wanted to go against G Unit. Dipset said it a long time ago. Jim Jones was like, before he got signed to G Unit, he told me that he wanted to go against Fifth because he wanted to create the whole East Coast, West Coast war type thing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So you also got to stay clear of the people who might be in your corner, but it's not at the same time. So you got to keep your circle nice and small. So all of these certain lessons that's going on, I look at certain things that's going on in the industry and I'll be like, peeping game. I'll be like, okay, that's different. Like all the artists that is getting killed. There's no reason why an artist should be getting killed right now. As a rapper, you're a celebrity. You think Tom Cruise and Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck and all of these A-list celebrities, you know, you think they go anywhere without security? Why? Just because they want to keep it hood? Jenny from the block is still Jenny from the block, but Jenny from the block also understand that you can't go everywhere on your willy-nilly. You know what I'm saying? So when you go back to the hood, people go, oh, I want to stay to the hood because, you know, that's where my heart is, this, that, and the third. If the hood didn't love you when you was in it, it's not going to love you when it come out. If you had beef before you got in, you think it's going to go away just because you a celebrity now? If anything, that makes you a target, a bigger target anyway.
Yes, sir.
You know, all the 20 homies that's in your video, they should be protecting you. What's good with having 20 homies in a video posting with all these guns and you get killed?
Yep. Don't
make sense. So when I watch a lot of these things that goes on in the industry, these is just my antennas are up. So I'm learning as I'm going through life and as I'm going through the industry and becoming bigger and more prominent and, you know, a lot more. I peep game and I receive the information. I say, okay, this is how I should move in this situation, or maybe I shouldn't do that. Every situation ain't the same, but you always got to be on your P's and Q's.
Yes, sir. Definitely. 100%.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. Let them know where they can find you.
Oh, man, you can find me everywhere. Facebook, Cameron Hall. You find me on my Facebook fan page, Rap Starr, a.k.a. Hurricane Cam. I got 2 pages. There's one with me and the Puerto Rican flag behind that. I don't have access to that. So there's another one. I think it got my latest magazine. Shout out to T. Lynn. That's my 7th magazine cover. I've been on 7 magazines so far. 7 magazines so far.
What's your goal? What's your goal to go to?
I don't know. As many as I can, because it's like growing up, before the social media, my go-to was Double XL.
Okay, okay.
Vibe magazine. The source when they wasn't fucking with Eminem. You know, when they was fucking with Eminem, I kind of stopped fucking with them. But these are the publications that I would read articles about my favorite artists and see what's going on. Now I can go on YouTube, or I can go on their actual, social media. I can go to Facebook. I can go to TikTok. I can go to Instagram. I can go to Twitter. Anywhere where they have even their own websites. So a lot of them are like collector's items because I collect, my magazines too, as well as like on my coffee table right now. I have a magazine of like, what was it, the 15th year anniversary of Biggie Smalls' death. I
That's dope.
I also had a couple of 50 Cent magazines, LL Cool J, Eminem, Jay-Z, DMX, Busta Rhymes, Lil' Kim, and then I got like 7 magazines of myself.
Hey, you gotta put yourself out there, promote
Of
yourself.
course. Like, I be trying to tell people, like, I tell people all the time, because I like to help people. So I tell everybody that I do an interview with. So even with you, I look at you like you're the next Angie Martinez. I look at you like you the next Miss Info. I look at you like you the next Angela Yee. I look at you like you the next Breakfast Club. You know what I'm saying? You are the next generation of these publications that we grew up on. I'm like the next LL Cool J. Not saying I'm the next L, but the generation now.
Yeah.
We are the generation now. So there might be somebody who is an aspiring artist who's probably looking at this interview and is probably getting inspired. Just like me listening to Eminem or interviews with my favorite artists, I get inspired. So just with that, in the music that I coming out with is crazy. Like this song I got coming out right now, I'm not gonna tell y'all. I'm gonna tell y'all the name and I'm gonna tell y'all what's about, but I can't tell y'all when's the release date. That's a surprise.
Okay.
The song is called Indigenous Nation.
Nice, I like it.
It is a very, very powerful song, and it's uplifting the indigenous communities of America. When I mean indigenous, the natives, the indigenous people who are from this country by bloodline.
Yes.
So that's what I do within my music. I try to uplift because I think that's hip hop. I think when you uplift the community with your song, I think that's hip hop.
Yes.
So these are the things that I'm talking about. The song that I got right now, Power to My People. That's self-explanatory. 1990-ish. Produced by New York Bangers. That's just a hip-hop. Like, it's a hardcore hip-hop. The chorus itself, it's rap to the star, rocking a blue Kango. Puerto Rican pendant on the chain, watch it dangle. So it's like crazy. Shout out to King Peter Hustler. He's an amazing rapper from the West Coast. Shout out to Seattle. That dude is ill. Like, he's West Coast for real. And me and him, we got a couple records together. He just came out with an album like a week ago or a week and a half ago. It's called Thug Style. And I'm on 2 songs. I'm on Thug Love, I mean not Thug Love, Latin Love remix. And I am also we also just did a song that's on an album called Coast to Coast.
Okay, I like it. Coast to coast, state to state, internationally. That's what we are right now. Let's get it.
So it's like it's bringing the West Coast to the East Coast. I remember me and him, we had a chat one day, and I told him that I had an idea for a song called Bicoastal. And I wanted to bridge the gap, with West Coast and East Coast. I love when I have like a West Coast and an East Coast artist, make records together and it has a blend of everything. And he said, you know what? I got a song called Coast to Coast. Won't you do it? Like, me and you, we go and we do it. And I'm like, yeah. And or you can find that anywhere. I got videos on my TikTok that I got the records everywhere: Pandora, Spotify, YouTube, iHeart, everywhere. We did another song called our first song called Hangwando, with me, him, and Original Fire Mexican, and it's just an ill song. I got another song coming up with shout out to Lady V, Valinda. Me and her, we got a song called Stay Drip, and it's an ill record. It's an ill record. So I'm doing. I also got another feature. Shout out to Peanut the General. Keep your body clean, huh? Shout out to them people, man, down south, man. He's a special cat because being that I'm from the East Coast, sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes when I go and I play my records down south, I don't get the love that I get when I'm promoting it on the East Coast, here on the East Coast. When I'm promoting on the West Coast, I don't get that same love because they're used to a different sound. You know what I'm saying? They're used to the drill, they're used to the trap, and I don't do that shit. And I'm not going to do that shit. I'm going to stay true to who I am. If you don't like real hip hop,
I love you for real, for real.
I'm not going to do that. I don't sell drugs, so I'm not a trapper. I'm not going to even try to drill. I don't do this shit. What I can do is get a trap beat and a drill beat and murder the shit lyrically, you know. But I'm not a drill rapper. I'm not a trap rapper. I'm not even going to try. So if you can't appreciate real hip hop, fuck you. That's it. You know. So I get
live on the Iccy Showw.
You already know.
One and only, baby.
You already know. So like I tell people, I be like, look, man, because like my homie True Live said it best. He said, look, I'm gonna put it to you this way. He said, when your man 50 came out and he dropped the song Wankster, Wankster was popping on the East and the West Coast. Heavy. You remember those little Nokia cell phones? They're like, I used to download ringtones, my 50 Cent ringtones, had people call me. I wouldn't answer just because I wanted to listen to the ringtone. So I'd be like, yo, call me back. Call them back. Like that was the joint, the polygraph ones, and then they got the real ones. He told me, he said on the East and West Coast, Wankster was one of the most popular records that he put out, but it wasn't hitting down south. The song that was hitting down south was 21 Questions because it was a melodic tone to it. It was sing-songy. So when you have a lot of these down south rappers, we East Coast, so we value punchlines, we value bars, we value complicated, rhyme schemes. They don't. It goes over their heads. They're like living in an airport, over their head all day. They don't want to. They don't want to think. They don't want to think of bars. If it is a bar, it's something simple. But they just want to move. They just want to dance to it. They want to shake their dreads to it. They want to and sweat and all that other bullshit. So it's just people in that region, because they're accustomed to a certain sound, they can't appreciate other songs. Now, me being an East Coast artist, I could appreciate some southern bass records. One of my favorites is the Future. What's that song? Percocet. Mally Percocet. Yeah. That I like that record. But when you have an industry where the sound is so saturated to one, it gets annoying, because now you got all of these new rappers trying to sound like these rappers who created it. Yeah. And then you got a whole generation of a bunch of copycats. Like, I'm gonna tell you, how many rappers out there have dreadlocks? They all look like Lil Wayne soldiers. Yeah. All of them. I know it's the style, I know it's the trend, but as an artist, how can somebody separate you from the next man?
Right. You gotta have your own swag, your own style.
And I'm not shooting on anybody who rocks dreads, but I'm like, every time I look at like some new rappers and they got them and they got their whole crew and their whole crew got dreads, I'm thinking it's like an Alien versus Predator movie. All of them look the same. Not one stands out. So I'm like, in the industry where like Black, Gorilla Black, when he first came out, you remember Gorilla Black?
Yeah.
That was my dude. He not only sound like Biggie, but he looked like Biggie.
Yes.
But at that time in hip hop, people wasn't really trying to give him a chance because it was too much a reflection of Notorious B.I.G. Now in this generation, if you look at it, and I tell people, I said, look at this. Rock music. Rock music is kind of dead right now. I used to grow up on grunge music, like, you know, the Creeds, the Alien Ant Farms, you know, Three Doors Down. You know, I used to listen to all of that. You don't find too many of them around here anymore. But even though rock, the genre, has kind of died out, the real rock stars now are the rappers now, because they're living that lifestyle. Sex, drugs, and rock and roll. Think about it. Almost every rapper's an addict now.
Yeah.
Almost every rapper is an addict now. Before, you would hear bits and pieces, like every once in a while you might hear a rapper overdosing. Like when ODB overdosed, it was a shock to the world. DMX dying.
Oh yeah.
Everybody knows he was going through problems, but how many times did the big homie bounce back?
Right.
You know? So, but now you got all of these, you got rappers naming themselves after pills and everything like that. And it's like, what kind of message are you sending to people? Now,
right.
People will say, well, you can't blame the artist. I'm like, no, to a certain extent, you can blame. Everybody has blame to go around. The artists are the blame because you're the one that's putting out the music lyrically.
Right.
All right? The record labels are the problem too, because they're the ones who's promoting this shit. Okay? The parents are to blame because you got people my age who's having kids not really understanding the music that they grew up listening to, because they're trying to still be young and trying to keep up with the music right now and not understanding, yo, we're 90s babies. We're not supposed to be walking around in skinny jeans, bruh. Pull your pants up. I was born in 91. There's a big difference between people who was born in 91 and people who was born in the late 90s. They're more closer to like my sister's age than anything. I'm more closer to my my older sister. She was born in the 80s, right? She's an 80s baby. I'm a 90s baby. So, and so like I be looking at it and I'm like, yo, growing up, you had certain morals growing up, and music taught you certain, like, you know, things. Like Tupac, when he came out with what's that song? I Ain't Mad at You. And he said in the verse, I used to fiend for your sister but never went up in her. You know how many guys probably go or mess around with their best friends, sisters, and family members and shit? It's just a code.
Right.
You're not supposed to do that. That's supposed to be family, you know?
Right.
So, you know, it's just like certain people, it just doesn't matter to them anymore. But me, I have a code, or I have a moral compass where I'm like, I'm not going to stray. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do things so the next man can feel comfortable if he's not comfortable with me being me.
Right.
Because I can only be me, you know? I remember I forgot who I had. I had a shirt. I was in Walmart buying groceries, and I had a shirt on. I forgot what shirt it was, but it had a legendary artist on it. And a guy who, I guess he was my age, he walked up to me and he was like, yo, you got some old school stuff. And he was like, but did you even listen to that when you was a kid? And I was like, yeah, Nick. He was like, but you can't even remember. I was like, no, you don't understand. You you are able to remember things when you're like 3 years old. I remember certain things when I was like 3 and 4. So there's certain things that I definitely remember growing up. So like things like Bone Thugs and Harmony that was popping and this, that, and the third, and certain things. Like there's TV shows that I even watch today that people my age probably won't even remember. Like the show Hope and Faith. Remember the show Hope and Faith?
Yep, yep,
With
yep.
Kelly Ripa?
Yes, yes.
That was my shit. You know, I used to watch Eliminate. Remember Eliminate?
I've heard of it, but I didn't really watch it.
Oh man, it was funny as hell. It had like what? It would switch up. So sometimes it would have like a group of like 4 girls and one guy, and the guy would go out on a date with all 4 of them, and at the end he would choose one, and then it would be vice versa and everything. Blind Date was another funny one to me. Blind Date with Roger Lodge. Um, just like certain shows, Sally Jesse, Raphael,
Yeah,
Geraldo,
yeah,
you know, Montel Jordan. Shout out to Montel Jordan. You know,
yeah.
so like all of these old stuff that I'm like, you know, I remember because these was a part of me growing up. So I have an old soul though. I do have an old soul.
Me too.
I'm 32. I should be 42 right now. I just have an old soul about me. So, you know, that's just what it is.
Definitely. I appreciate you, Rap Star. This is interview 556 interviews in 5 years. Follow Rap Star. Make sure you go through his manager, Beverly Bush. Just definitely link with, or if you're interested in having a feature, should they go through you or Bev?
Professionally, they should go through Bev, but not everybody follows that rule. It's usually people who already know that goes through me. I don't really mind if they hit me up, but professionally, they should go through a manager. Um, but it is what it is. If you want me as a feature, if you want to get to know my music, you know, like I said, I got 2 official singles out right now, Power to My People and 1990-ish. I got other features that I have. I'm working on new material as we speak. I mean, I'm working on a lot of stuff right now. Like a lot of stuff. I
Feel
actually got,
overwhelmed?
huh?
You feel overwhelmed?
Um, not overwhelmed, but there's just the music itself is not a problem. It's just all of the paperwork I have to do. Like for example, for Indigenous Nation, the Indigenous Nation actually is a sample of an older song. So because I have this older song that's a sample, I have to go and try to get that clear, the sample clear. I don't want to put this out and have people like it to be withdrawn and me being sued by, you know, the people who originally made it. I'm not that selfish. So I would
Right.
rather go and do the work to do that. I found a couple of ways how to go about it. My engineer, shout out to Sonny Brasco. He's another dope MC. Um every time I come to him, you know, in the studio, he always be like, "Yo, bro, you on your work, man. You doing everything right." My grandfather, I see every day. He tells me, he said, "Yo, Cam, the music you got, ain't nobody saying anything about the music. The music you got down packed. But I think you should be in business, like the music business, because he was like, you be teaching me some stuff that I didn't even know about." And he learns like that's the thing that I love about like the relationship with my grandfather. Like he's my only surviving grandparent. And I used to have about like 7 of them.
Wow.
Now I'm just dropped down to 1.
Wow.
So me seeing him every day because he actually lived right behind my job. He lived 2 streets over. So every day on my lunch break, I go to his house. We chat for about an hour, you know, or I'll run some errands for him and come back and talk to him until I come back to work. And, you know, I tell him about my day, tell him what's going on. And before, he didn't really like rap. Like, even later, he didn't like rap because he said it was nothing but talking. There was one song that him and my grandmother appreciated. and that was Nelly's Air Force Ones. They loved that song. It was only about Air Force Ones, but they loved that song. So ever since when I started working here, I would go to his house, my grandma and my grandfather's house, and I would spend time with them every day. And because me and him would have conversations, I would enlighten him about certain things about the music business. Now, his man, he likes Drake. So me and him would get in debates where he would like, you like Drake? And I'm like, nah, not really. It's not my style. You know, only reason why I'm saying that is because there's rumors of him having ghostwriters. If you are an artist that needs ghostwriters, I can't respect you as an MC. That's just me, period. I feel that hip hop is an autobiography. Um, I feel that when you write down lyrics, because it's like, how does it feel when you have a real MC who's a writer, and we going through struggles like writer's block? We're going through struggles like trying to write a whole song and then go back to the song and then be like, nah, that ain't right. And then trying again and everything like that, to where somebody could pay somebody to write a verse and they spit it on a record and it become a big hit. It's not yours. I tell my grandfather this all the time, and he was like, well, what if somebody offered you like $2 million guaranteed hit? Would you do it? And I'd be like, no, I wouldn't do it. Because I cannot perfectly like tell people I'm the best MC and I need help with the pen.
Right.
Busta Rhymes said it in the Drink Champs. He said all the songs that he have written that we heard, he wrote all of them. Now, that doesn't mean because you need a help with your pen that you're not a dope MC, because being an MC is more than just rapping. There's a lot of people in the industry that we know that didn't write their songs, but they're legends.
Right. Facts.
But you cannot claim yourself to be top 10 or top 5 and you have a ghostwriter. What sense do that make? You're cheating. You know, when you go to a graffiti artist, can a graffiti artist say he's a graffiti artist, but another person is graffitiing work for him? All he just do is put his name on it. Right. Can a DJ really say he's a DJ and there's another person hands on the record? You know what I'm saying? Can a b-boy say he's a b-boy, but he don't dance? It's different when you're an MC. You know, it's so different. You know, a lot of people, you know, and a lot of people like Drake. That's them. Me, I still see Drake as Degrassi, the dude from Degrassi. That's how I see Drake. You know, when you say you started from the bottom and you here, and I'll be like, homie, you been on top. You was a celebrity before you came into rap. Now, if you talking about you started from the bottom, from getting in the industry and up and everything like that, that's cool. You know, but there's certain things that I just can't relate to. And there's people who might listen to my music and say that they can't relate to it. Like I remember when I played 1990-ish for them down south people. They said they can't relate to it because they're not hip hop. You know what I'm saying? They're just not hip hop. No, they're just not hip hop. So they can't relate to stuff that I'm talking about because they're not in that, you know, in that mind frame. And that's cool. But like I said, when there's rappers out there who really have ghost writers, I cannot respect you as an artist because I go through struggles as a writer. You know how frustrating it is to have a hot bar in your mind and you can't find a pen or a pad, or you find a pen that don't even work.
Yes. Or a pencil that breaks.
Or a pencil that breaks. That's so frustrating to me.
Yes.
Like it's just so crazy. And it's like, I know when I see when rappers be in a booth and they be rapping and they have it on their phone and they be in the booth and they be like, yeah, you know, I can't do that. I still need a pen and paper.
Yes, old school. That's what I'm talking about. Tell them, raps, though. Let them know the fact, though.
I love that shit. And then I also got to back it up because after I write it, I go into my phone and then I type it up for an official document, you know? So like when you put out your music and everything like that, people want to read what you say. There's fans that I got who are hearing impaired. So listening to a record is not an option. You know, I want somebody to listen to my words. Like when I was in college, I was in a class, what was it? It was intro to interpretation. And and we had to write poems. Like we had to get poems and we had to recite them. But as like we had to say it with like more emphasis. And I grabbed one of Tupac's poems. I forgot what it was. But in college they hold Tupac's words so valuable. I want my raps to be the same way. Like I tell people this all the time in interviews. Anybody who is listening to music, I just seen somebody said the best of luck to you, bro. I appreciate you, salute you, man. People, you know, they I tell people, I say I want people to listen to my music, and when you go to college, whether if it's for an associate for 2 years, a bachelor's for 4, or if you decide to go on and do the graduate school, the same type of information you would get from going to school, I want you to have that same type of knowledge by listening to my music. And it's not only just with like history, but you know, with other things. Like I want, you know, financial growth, economics. Listen to a song and see how it breaks down and see how I'm breaking down stuff, you know. So that's my goal in hip hop. I want to be an educator. Now it's crazy because you see my favorite rapper's favorite rapper. I met my favorite rapper's favorite rapper. My number 2 is 50. M is number 1. When I was in college, I met KRS-One. KRS-One is 50 Cent's favorite rapper at that time. KRS-One is known as the teacher. He teaches. So it's only natural in me for me to go and be like, you know what, growing up, it was 50 in the G Unit that made me want to become a better artist. Eminem made me want to become an artist. You know what I'm saying? So to go and see an artist that my favorite artist grew up listening to, it's like an honor. It's a complete honor. You know what I'm saying? It's just crazy. So I met KRS-One. DMX was another. Oh my God, yo.
You got a picture with DMX too.
I got a picture with DMX. DMX. It was so crazy, man. Like, shout out to my boy True Live. I tell this story all the damn time. He hit me up. I'm at work, like I'm at right now. I was working the later shift though, and he was like, "Yo, bro, shout out to True Live too." He hit me up and he was like, "Yo, bro, I need you to slide through the hood real quick." And it was a hood that I grew up in. So I was like, "Why? What's up?" He was like, "Yo, X is in the building." Like, what? X is in the building? Okay. I go straight home. After I clock out, go straight home. Then I come back to the hood. Now, remind you, the club that X was in, because he was club hopping, the club that he was about to be in was in my neighborhood. I mean, we talking 2 streets over was the Catholic school that I went to from pre-K till about 5th grade. So that's home. So I go, I'm in there. There's about like 30 Rough Rider guys, you know, going up and down the street, you know, and all of a sudden I see a black Suburban. I'm standing outside the club. I'm waiting for my homie to come. See a black Suburban. All of a sudden, 4 guys with Rough Rider jackets came out. X was following right behind them. There was a bike between me and X. I extended out my hand. I was like, yo, X, big fan, yo. And he looks at me, he looks at the bike, and he's like, hey, yo, that's your bike. And I was like, nah, man, that ain't my bike, man. That ain't my bike. He's like, I'm just saying because you wearing blue and white, the bike's wearing blue and white, man. I just thought that was your bike, yo. Yo, I was like, yo, this is X, yo. He really is like this, you know? Going to the VIP section, X is standing right behind me. I'm like, yo, X, is it possible I could, you know, take a picture with you? And he's like, you the man from outside, right? And I was like, yeah, you know. It was crazy. It was the craziest moment ever. And then when he died, my man who actually introduced me to him, he was having a real rough time because not only X dying, other people in his family was dying too. So he was really in a dark place. I remember I almost met 50 Cent.
Wow.
I was 6 feet away from him until two things happened that night. The person who was supposed to introduce me to him played me. And then right when I was supposed to see him, my little cousin got killed.
Oh, wow. My condolences.
Thank you. So imagine you going to a place to see a man who literally cleared the path for you into the artist that I am now. Get a phone call. My cousin just got killed. I couldn't even stay. I had to leave the club. So
oh, yeah,
I just chalk it up to, well, you know what? It wasn't meant this time, but it will be.
Yeah, definitely.
And I'm not going to only meet Fifth. I'm going to have a sit down. I'm going to have a conversation of him, and I'm going to have a conversation about how much his influence, you know, got me. Even the same, I'll have the same conversation with M, the same conversation with Kim, the same conversation with LL, the same conversation with the Nas, Busta Rhymes, everybody that I'll hold to a higher standard, you know, because I don't care what nobody say. People be shooting shots at Kim, but that's still my baby, yo. Still my baby. I don't give a fuck what nobody say about her surgery. See, there's three artists that can't nobody say shit about me because I'm gonna defend them. That's M, that's 50, and that's Kim. I don't give a damn how much surgery she hears. I swear I'm still a Kim fan. I will still salute Kim. Kimberly Jones.
Yes, definitely. Salute definitely to Kim. Definitely. This is Rap Star interview 556. I appreciate you, Rap Star, coming on the Iccy Show. Is there anybody that you want to give a shout out to before we end this?
Let's see. Shout out to the Iccy Show. Number one. Shout out to Jackie for having me back here numerous times, yes, running my mouth. Yes. You know. Shout out. My flyers too. Oh yeah. Oh, flyers is dope. Flyers is dope. Crazy. and don't forget the mixtape too.
Yes. International.
Yeah. What? Wow, it been that long now?
Yeah, 1 year.
Time has flown so quickly. But
yeah, 1 year ago.
That's crazy. But shout out to the Iccy Show for having me on here. Always a pleasure. Shout out to Beverly Bush, Beautiful Danger Entertainment. Shout out to CJ. What up, CJ? You know, shout out to all the artists out there who's on the grind doing music, keeping up with real hip hop, you know, spreading truth, making music for the people. Shout out to the producers who's behind it. Shout out to engineers. Let's see. CJ, you know. Shout out to shout out to all of the victims of the school shootings that been happening recently. It's crazy. Shout out to what'd you say?
Even at the hip hop shows, it's been getting crazy too.
Yeah, it's crazy. Shout out to my wife. She's gangster. She just kicked out somebody at our crib who was supposedly be a handyman, and he actually stole a Pop-Tart and honey bun off my damn microwave. It was mine too.
Oh shit.
The s'mores. He stole my s'mores Pop-Tart, yo. He stole. The nigga's supposed to be working on the motherfucking sink. Why are you eyeing my Pop-Tart?
Jealous. He had the 420 munchies. That's why.
Man, and he's about to get his ass kicked, man. All over a Pop-Tart. But yeah. Shout out to 420, you know, 420, you know, it is what it is, you know. Shout out to everybody watching this interview, who've been paying attention, who've been commenting. Shout out to y'all.
Definitely.
You know, if y'all want to get at me, get at me. If you can't get at me and directly, maybe you could go to Jackie and she can hook that up, yo.
Yes,
So
definitely.
it is what it is.
In the building, we got Canada in the building, we got Brazil in the building, we got Boston.
Brazil.
Let's go.
Did you know, Jackie, Brazil got the highest population of black people next to Africa?
I didn't know that.
It's crazy. Crazy. Shout out to Sao Paulo, shout out to Rio de Janeiro, shout out to the whole Brazil, man. Shout out to the whole Latin America. Puerto Rico, what's up? You know, that's the island.
For real. I gotta
shout
go
out
visit.
shout out to Africa. Shout out to all my Native Americans. Shout out to the East Coast, Boston, Rhode Island, New York, Pennsylvania. Oh, and for people that don't know, I'm from Pittsburgh, not Philly. You don't know how many times people is saying, "Yo, Philly." I'm from Pittsburgh. You know, just think the Steelers. There's a lot of artists coming from. There's a lot of artists from Philly. A lot of artists from Philly. There's only a few of us, huh?
You're one of those.
I'm one of those. But you know, the whole East Coast, you know, from Pennsylvania all the way to Maine, if they even have, you know, thorough people in Maine. You know, shout out to the West Coast. Shout out to the Midwest. Shout out to the down south who listen to real hip hop and not just trap music. So, you know.
Definitely. I appreciate you, Rap Star. This is interview 556. Shout out to Beverly Bush, always putting this interview together.
Yeah.
And shout out to you, Rap Star. Artists, link with this link with Rap Star that is doing some big major moves. And if you want to be a feature with him, I recommend it. Get on it. If you have a show that you can put him on, definitely I recommend it. And he is willing to go internationally, so link with him and his managers for the business. I appreciate you, Rap Star. Let's get it.
Yeah.
556. Happy 420. Let's go. Happy 420. Much love and respect.
20.
Go.